Hi, everyone. Welcome to Parent to Parent. I'm kicking off Q3 guests today. I can't believe it. I've taken a little bit of a break for the summer and excited to be back with you to go over Q3 guests. You're going to love the people that I have lined up for this quarter. So make sure that you are staying tuned to this channel, whether you're listening on Spotify, I'll be uploading these on there, as well as you're on our YouTube channel, Facebook, any of those places, LinkedIn, I'm streaming live. So make sure that you're staying in tune with us. But I want to tell you about a couple other things that have been going on so that you're able to really stay connected with me on your parenting journey. And I provide with you as many resources as possible. Now, right up here in the corner is a QR code. So if you want to click that QR code, you can check out my book, Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, a Parent's Manual. It is on Amazon right now. And so you can check it out there and grab a copy of it there. It's also available on TikTok. So if you are a TikToker, you can check me out on TikTok. So I want to tell you a little bit about my book while we're hanging out here together. So this is the actual copy of the book. And it's a super easy read. It's a great read for moms, dads, grandparents, soon-to-be parents. And I'm going to read to you some of the chapters that are in here: lifetime commitment, united front, forming connections, creating routines, improving behaviors, practicing discipline, promoting socialization, supporting academics, technology, extracurriculars, dinner table, finding faith, self-care, and fun activities. Now, those are just like the tip of the iceberg. I tell people it's just the very first part of conversations that people can have with their spouse, with their partners, with whoever's on their parenting team about how they want to make their parenting plan. And that's something that I'm going to really get into this quarter, is your parenting plan. Now, the back of the book, for every chapter, there's discussion questions. And these discussion questions are great because as you go through, as your kids age, you can go through and answer these questions again, because it's going to change. Like, who's on your parenting team? Maybe you were married and then you got a divorce, and now you have a new parenting team. Maybe you were single and you got married. Now you have a new parenting team. Maybe you're a grandparent and now you're taking over the grandchildren, or a niece or somebody. You need to build a parenting plan. And so just doing different work and thinking through some things. What are boundaries that you might need to create? What's the best way to communicate with your child? How often do you hold conversations with them? So every chapter, there's 6 questions, super easy beginning conversation. Now, I will tell you a couple of things. You're not a huge reader. You're like, I don't love to read a book. Well, let me help you with that. I'm happy to share with you. I have a YouTube channel. So let me go through and share this with you so you can see this YouTube channel. So on here are a bunch of videos that I have of myself reading different sections of each chapter. As you can see, this one is chapter 5, children's behavior, and they're all about 5-7 minutes long, 4 minutes. You can see they're not super long when you hover over and see the times of these. But you can check those out there, as well as I've got some other parenting things. You can go into the playlist and you can go to the read alouds and view the full playlist. Let's get back of each chapter. So you can go through and just start with chapter 1 and go through and just start reading the ones, or picking the ones that resonate with you. So it's really a great way for you to be able to, access the content in another format. I'm also host this. I look funny here. Back and stop. I also host on Udemy. I have courses, and they're free right now for the parenting courses. So you can check out my name, Tanya Farron. Look up my parenting courses on Udemy. My goal is to have as much content out for parents as possible to help them on their parenting journey. So please make sure that you are checking out that resource. Again, you can get a copy of my book here at this QR code. You can go onto my YouTube channel, and you can, let me put my YouTube channel on here. It's called Parent to Parent Talks, and you can check out that as well. And then you can also go to Spotify and listen to these conversations. And then I also on here, I also have, let me go back to this. all of my live streams are on here. So there's a whole host of people that I've already interviewed about different topics about parenting. And so you can check those out and dig into those as well. Like so many topics, so many resources, so many great things for you available. So make sure that you are taking the time to go in and, try something new, learn something new. Yeah. All right. So let's get into this and talk about some of the guests that I'm going to have on the show. And they are already getting started and being prepared on YouTube. And so this is great. CJ Scarlett is an incredible person. I have met her. She calls herself the Badass Grandma. And she is doing all kinds of amazing things. But, she's written a few books and she really speaks out about protecting kids from bullies, from cyber bullies, from, teaching them how to, respect themselves and take care of themselves and know the warning signs of bullies. And what to look for, and really to help guide you as parents as well on this. And she's an incredible person. She's got amazing energy. You're going to love her. I love her. I think she's so cool. So I'm excited to have her. I'll have her on third quarter and fourth quarter. So getting her set up to go. And then also these two gentlemen, I love Dr. Raheem Young and Sir Royce Brialis. They are two amazing men from the Chicago area who have a company called Welcome to Fatherhood. And they do so many amazing initiatives in their area and probably internationally as well, with talking to people and speaking about fatherhood. It's a topic that we don't always expand on. I think sometimes we just think dads are just going to be dads and that's the way they are. But there's so many components to being a parent as a father. You serve a different role. Maybe you are the only parent, there's a lot of different things that can happen, in life. And so these two men are making great strides with helping not just men, but helping families and helping them connect with one another. And they do amazing symposiums in their area, as well as monthly events for the people in the Chicago area. Absolutely love them. All right. Thank you so much, Nick, for joining us and for recommending the book. I know, right? I love that. So thank you for grabbing a few other friends. And if you know anyone who is in a parenting situation, they're a parent, send them to this channel. I have the Parent to Parent channel on LinkedIn or page. So checking everybody out. Then we've also got the Nutritious Lunchbox with Lisa Fevick. So Lisa Fevick is on LinkedIn every 2 weeks, I believe. And she is always talking about menopause and nutrition. She's a nutritionist, dietitian. But I've asked her to come talk to us about a nutritious lunchbox. She talked about healthy meals and healthy families. But, we're getting to that time of year, time to come back to school, and we're getting ready to pack those lunch boxes, or maybe our kids are old enough to pack lunch boxes. Now, I was in schools for a long time, and I can tell you in person, you can tell when a parent packed a lunchbox. You can tell when a kid packed a lunchbox. And I'm not judging on either one of them, but let's talk about nutrition values. So how can we teach our kids how to have a little balance with their nutrition values? So some kids would pack all the fruit snacks and the candy and that sort of thing. And then the other kids would have, maybe an Uncrustable and some carrots and then the fruit snacks, a little bit more of a balance. So what are some things that she recommends or suggests? I'm excited to listen to what she has to say on these topics. Also, Heather Jones, she is a counselor, and she has and a therapist, and she is a mom. And I think she has 3 children, if I recall. And, I wanted to really get her take on how do you handle and juggle life with 3 kids at home. You're a working professional. She's spending a lot of time listening to other people's problems and the things that they're doing and, what they have, happening in life. And then she's got to go home and take care of her children and listen to their woes or get them organized or, fed and off to the next event. And how is she calming that chaos and keeping things orderly in her home? And maybe she's not. I don't really know. We're gonna find out and see what Heather's take and Heather's view on kind of that chaotic family. How do you help them? Now, this is another person, Tina Sasso. She's part of our network, but she has been in the process of adopting a child. And she and I were talking, and she said, I'd love to be on your show. If you'd like for me to talk about, she said, I'm not a parent yet, but I'd love to talk to you about the process of being a parent. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. There's a lot of people who struggle with infertility and, having a difficult time, having children of their own, or maybe they're single and they don't want to go through and, find a donor. So how do you become a mom, and what is the adoption process like? And I really haven't talked to anybody who's been adopting a child in a very long time, probably in almost 30 years. So I'm sure the process has changed. And so this might be interesting for somebody that who could possibly, benefit from this conversation with Tina Sasso. Thank you, Leslie, for joining us from North Carolina. I appreciate you popping in today. All right. And then I love this story with Brenda Lise Acosta. So Brenda Lise was supposed to be on last quarter, but things kind of happened and we had to move her date around. But she is going to talk about teens and social media. She has a teenage daughter. So if any of you have teenage children, this is the conversation that you want to come to. You want to come back and listen to. Now, these are being presented in order. So you'll see she's a little farther down the line in third quarter. I believe she's in later September. But yeah, teens and social media. Now, her daughter has been able to monetize through social media. And so it's been interesting to learn from her how she's been navigating this with her daughter and helping support her daughter become an entrepreneur and a business person. And so I have lots of questions, and I'm sure you do too. So make sure that you're joining us for that one. Okay, this is another one. Dr. Misbah Qureshi, if you followed my channel, you'll know that Dr. Q and I often take time and we host once a month. We're rebranding and relaunching, calling it Purposeful Parenting. And we'll host that once a month starting next week. But I'm having her on my show. And this is the question I get a lot by parents. Should I take my child to therapy? Or I'm afraid to take my child to therapy. Why do I need to take him to therapy? Who do I go to? How do I find a person? And so if you've asked yourself those questions, this is the episode you want to come to because, Dr. Qureshi is a therapist. She works with families. She works with kids. And so, she is real. And this is what I love. This is going to be like a real conversation with Dr. Qureshi about how do we make these decisions as parents to be able to determine, does my child need therapy and should I take them there? What are the things that really kind of send up a red flag for you that you should go to that route? And so excited about having her on the show as well. And then my last guest of the quarter is Tanya Davis. And she is very active on LinkedIn and very involved with her son. And I just want to have real mom talk with Tanya Davis. Like, I'm super excited to just have a real live talk with her, and just, she's balancing and juggling life. And I think that's important too. When we're building this parenting community, it's so important for other parents to be able to feel that they're not alone. And that's what this channel and that's what, my guests are here to do is to teach you guys that you're not alone. Maybe you pick up a new strategy or two, and to build a new connection, maybe another person that you can reach out to or you can put together on your parenting journey. So check that out. I'm excited to have all of these guests on here with me. Yeah, Nick, thank you. It is amazing what Brenda Lee's daughter has achieved on social media. Yeah, it is. It's really necessary for the teen. Yeah. I agree. I agree as well. Thank you both, Leslie and Nicole. You're amazing supporters, wonderful people. And I appreciate you helping get the word out to other parents because it is important that we're doing this. I wished I would have had this too as a mom. I felt fortunate being an educator. I took some parenting classes when I was, in college. I had to take psychology and sociology classes, and I had to take child psychology, and I had to we took a course called The Exceptional Child. So we did take some additional courses being an educator to help this. But being in a school and working with other teachers and other parents, that also broadened my scope of my knowledge base. And then being a principal, I worked with some high needs families with behavior specialists, behavior therapists, psychologists that would come into our building. And so I was able to really build my bank of skills based upon my personal experiences as a principal and as a mom. Now, I want to make sure that people know again about my book. Grab it. It is a great read. It's easy. It's my successes. It's my failures. It's everything in between there. There's no brain research in there. There's none of that jargon. It's real life, practical advice for you to be able to have. So make sure that you are checking that out, grabbing a copy of that. Remember, there's the discussion questions in the back for you to kind of plan out your parenting. Build a plan as a parent. How do I want things to go differently with my child? So take the time to do that. I'm also available to come and talk to your parent groups. I'm able to come to your schools and talk to them. I've got some schools already lined up for the fall that I'll be going and talking about my book there so that we can get the word out and we can help more parents have and build healthy relationships with their families, with their children individually, with their schools, and really just build that toolbox of providing a lot of support for parents. Again, remember, if you can check out my YouTube channel, it's scrolling at the bottom. I'd love for you to subscribe to that. I also have on Spotify, and you can check it out there. So with that being said, do I ever have a grandparent? Yes, I do. And this is a great question, Leslie. I help a lot of grandparents in my day job. So by day, I'm a middle school principal. I've been a principal at elementary, middle, and high school. So I've worked with all ages, and I do deal and work with a lot of grandparents. And it's tough for them. They have to relearn a lot because they're having to navigate technology, which they didn't have to navigate with their own teens, when they were raising their grandchildren and their teens. And so they have to learn a little bit more, for them to be able to, we always have to get in front of our kids. We always have to be a step ahead of what they're planning on doing or thinking and really being in front of them. But there's a lot of grandparents that are really, really great. They're really great. And they're really helping their own kids also raise their children. So they get on those parents too. And it's nice, if they're seeing the lapse in some type of a behavior. Thank you, Nicole, for getting this book for your sister. It's a great book for them. So I'm grateful that you're going to do that. So make sure, I'll just go back real quick. We'll skim through this. I'm sorry about those first few slides. They do get wonky sometimes when I download them, but just to kind of go through this again, we've got CJ Scarlett coming, the very first one next week. She's joining us. You're going to love that presentation. We've got Raheem Young and Royce, Sir Royce Brialis. They're the gentlemen that own Welcome to Fatherhood. The Nutritious Lunchbox with Lisa Fevick. Calming the Chaos with Heather Jones. Adoption with Tina Sasso. Teens and Social Media with Brenda Lees. Should I Take My Child to Therapy with Misbah Qureshi. And Real Mom Talk with Tanya Davis. And then it'll be the fall. Can you believe that? It's going to be hard to believe, but I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited that you joined me today. Thank you so much for being here. I'm here on Monday nights at 5 p.m. Central Time. You can always catch my replay on YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn, Facebook. I am everywhere, and probably on TikTok. You'll see me there too. All right, everybody, have a great Monday, and thanks for letting me be a part of your parenting journey. Take care.